Okay, start this off, dodge away immediately. Just ignore all these enemies, break these rocks, and run as fast as your land legs will carry you. Okay, a real quick combat tutorial. When fighting enemies, there are two ways to beat them. You could attack, then dodge into them to attack again, or attack, then dodge away, attack when they approach you, and repeating for a more defensive playstyle. Though some enemies you can just one-shot.
But my enemies don't get one shot.
This is probably because this is your first save, or you've played a harder difficulty before. It has to do with your previous save's difficulty and whether it was played on easy or extra hard mode. To get an easier tutorial, make a new save, run through it real quick, and select easy mode as the difficulty. Going back to your original one after. So now, with your squishier enemies, slash through them, making sure not to get hit, until you rescue your first follower. Add them to your cult, skip to Ratu's pointless chatter, and teleport out of there. Now, if you manage not to get hit, congrats, you get 50% more loot. If not, why are you even listening to this video? Seriously, simple instructions. Now choose whichever difficulty you want, with my recommendation as extra hard. After being a wuss and choosing easy mode, go and admit your first follower into your cult. Go to their form and make them into a dog. Yes, this hurts me as much as you. It doesn't matter what color or variant, as long as they're a dog. Accept them into your cult, then send them to go mine. Now when you're free, start harvesting all the materials around your plot, only aiming for the small or medium ones, since the large ones literally take as long as harvesting the entire plot. Once you finish, breeze through the rest of the tutorial until you're able to return to the lands of the Old Faith. Okay, once you've unlocked Darkwood, go through and just repeat the same fighting tactics from the tutorial. Play aggressive or passive, doesn't matter, just don't get hit. Not the end of the world if you do, but if you do, just know getting your 30 coins will just be 50% slower. If you stray upon a tarot card dealer, you should go for damage if you haven't been hit, and health when you have been. Once you're done with the first level, you should select a path with resources on it, selecting everything there, and then getting on your way. Eventually making it to this large stone room, where you'll meet the first boss. This is a very simple fight. Hit them until they glow, and then dodge. Their projectile attacks are slow and have warning symbols, and if a lackey spawns, kill now or it will be a problem later. Just keep the pressure on them and then you'll eventually defeat them. Then talk to them, since you need to add them to your cult. And once your bonus reward appears, you should probably go for food. Get your reward, get those coins, and then leave. After whipping Andusius's butt, go accept them into your cult. Again, doesn't matter what you do with them, just as long as they're a dog. Sadly. After accepting them, use those 30 coins you got to build your shrine. This should get you your third follower, which you should again make a dog. After making them go pray, go to the rest of your followers and make them do the same thing. Then go and collect your first devotion, which you'll then use to unlock the temple. Go over to the building station and place a temple wherever you want, go construct it, then go inside to perform the sermon to gain your extra half heart. After doing so, you should get the prompt to look for a commandment stone fragment, which you'll find going back into Darkwood. Run around till you meet the one you need, Haro, grab the fragments, and then get out of there. In the temple, go to the crown, and then new doctrines, and then set one. This will get you the bonfire ritual, which you'll then have to go back into Darkwood again, so you can look for some bones. You get bones from finishing rooms, they'll drop from enemies' skeletons, or just skeleton decorations on the ground. You'll need 25 bones if you plan on being the boss, or 50 if you suck and get martyred. Run back to your temple and perform the bonfire ritual, getting access to the well-needed bless action. Then go around to all your followers, blessing them and petting them, so eventually this happens. And then after tending to all your followers, finish it off with a sermon. And if any of your followers have white eyes after performing a sermon, go talk to them and they'll give you fragment stones and more devotion. With the devotion you collect over time, you'll want to unlock the farm plot, then the farmer station, and finally the sleeping bags. With those, you'll want to build a farmer station and then surround it with farm plots around 4 to 6, constructing them all, planting berry seeds, and then making sure you water them all. And if you still have enough resources, you'll want to put enough sleeping bags down for your followers, build them all up, and oh, June wants me to name my cult. What the dog Dune? What a narcissist. Of course you like that name. Somewhere along the way, you probably should have unlocked Lonely Shack, travel there, and walk over to the Grass Mound Hut. Inside, you'll meet Ratu again, then just talk to him so you can play some Knucklebone. It's a pretty easy game. Place low numbered dices on empty slots, and stacked ones on dice piles. Double up the same numbers to gain extra points, and use identical numbers to break his dice. And then just administer crushing defeat to Ratu, getting a mediocre card and the option to bet coins. Keep up a winning streak until you get 3 times the amount of coins of followers. After you're done doing your legal gambling, you'll want to acquire the big gift from his house. Go outside, direct the berries and the devotion to the right of the house. And once you're done, just go back to your cult. In your temple, go to set a doctrine, choosing possession 1, and getting the bribe follower action. After that, bribe all your followers with the Knucklebones winnings. In addition, bless and pet them to up their loyalty. Go around and do this to all your followers, giving out a gift here and there. You continue doing this every day to level up your followers, also setting new doctrines since it's a once a day thing. Put it into Subsistence 1 to get Ritual Feast, and then Subsistence 2 for the Cannibal trait. Also, by now, you should have gotten Cult 2 after upgrading your cult. You should unlock the Missionary, a Demon Summoning Circle, an Offering Statue, whatever a Tabernacle is, and last and least important, the Shelter. Go to the building station, sit down a Missionary, craft it up, and then send your high-leveled follower to look for whatever you're lacking. Later, Peanut. And when all these things are finished, just go on expeditions to kick boss butt. So to defeat the second boss, attack them immediately, and when they start hopping around, just avoid the direction they're heading to. The first attack should be an AoE one, dodge away, and then into the ring, and then start attacking again. After is the spraying one, which you could just walk around. The attack pattern alternates, so it's pretty predictable. Then after half health, you'll start jumping faster, but that shouldn't really be a problem. And for defeating the third boss, you'll want to attack until they glow, and then look for their attack tile. For the AoE one, they'll start hunching down, which you should then dodge away, and then wait. And then for their spitting attack, watch to see if the green sack things start to shake. Avoid the red X's, but you should be able to just keep up the damage. Also, when they go underground, don't touch the spikes, because they do hurt. So now, after defeating 3 mini-bosses, you should get access to the real one. Before entering Darkwood, go into your menu, save, and then enter the dungeon. Do this until you get a route with no swords or followers on it, quitting out and rejoining if not. Go through the dungeon and take as little damage as possible, collecting damage tarot cards or bonus health, eventually making it to the boss room. Walk in on the ritual, and then respectfully give him enough time to power up, until he transforms, revealing the true. You'll usually start with summoning enemies, so instantly rush in and attack. Pay attention to his eyes. When they become red, Leshy will do a spitting attack, which is easy to avoid. The other attack is a large amount of spike lines, which is done when he hunches over. Just dodge back to avoid it, and like the third boss, he'll leave a spike trail behind him, which you just shouldn't touch. And when he's traveling underground, kill the enemies around, because they'll become a big nuisance later. Eventually, around half health, he'll switch up his moveset. When roaring, a giant AoE of spikes will come out, which you should just dodge into to avoid. He'll also jump up and cannonball you, which is pretty easy because you just need to watch out for his danger circle. Also summoning more enemies when he roars and his eyes turn red. And finally, after attacks, he'll start smashing his head down here and there, so best to stay on the left side of him so you have enough time to react when he does do it. Just keep the damage and you should... if only I did just a little bit more damage. So to counteract you sucking at the game, we're gonna find you a new look. Some point before the boss room, you should have run into this handsome lad, have a chat with the fisherman, and you should unlock Pilgrim Passage. Go back to your temple where you'll need to set a doctrine, do Subsistence 3, then choose the Ritual of the Ocean's Bounty. Right after, perform said ritual, and you'll get 2 free fish. By now, it's already worth it. But a little more fish can't hurt. Over to the Traveling Circle, travel the Pilgrim Passage, and then speak more with this total human. He'll then let you fish, which you should, catch something, then talk to him again, which he'll then grant you with a quest to find 4 different sea creatures. Then instantly after, curse you with the worst card in the game. It's a small price to pay. After accepting his gift, go back to fishing. The Ocean's Bounty Ritual raises the chances for better fish, so using this, you'll be able to fill your belly forever. Stop here and there to tend to your cult, collecting devotion, cooking for them, and other things. Do this often so people like June over here don't get all pissy. Also, since you'll be doing this over a long span of time, use your Doctrine Stones to get Afterlife 1, choosing the Belief of Sacrifice trait, then getting Afterlife 2 with Ritual of Resurrection. Once you've done all your cult duties, continue fishing, since you want to get as much fish as possible. Eventually, Ocean's Bounty's timer will run out. When that happens, trade in your fish to the fisherman. When fulfilling his request, you'll get these small little red pointy things. Trade all 4 and he'll give you enough to create a full holy talisman. Once you have your talisman, run over to the temple and trade in for the golden fleece. Looking pretty dapper. Additionally, you'll want to make the demon summoning circle, set it up, and skim through your highest level followers, and choose a damage dealing one, aka the sword, bow, or bomb. Sheesh, wonder how much that hurts. Anyways, go back into Darkwood, and while in there, make sure to have a more defensive playstyle. For every enemy you kill, you'll get a damage boost, but on the offside, if you get hit, you'll take double damage and lose your damage multiplier, so make sure not to get hit. Eventually, this should get easier, since you'll be able to one-shot the enemies with your damage multiplier, but don't get cocky, because that's where it all crumbles. Like usual, get damage-focused tarot cards, and if your coin purse is on the hefty size, buy an extra tarot card. Time for take 2. Again, rushing to deal as much damage as possible, keeping distance to not get nipped by the spikes. When he's under, deal with the lackeys, since they're a huge risk now. We'll follow the same attack pattern, so just focus on getting in as much hits as possible. And this is exactly what I mean. Luckily, I already dealt enough damage, and I should be able to defeat Leshy in a couple more swings. Sheesh, hopefully that doesn't get me age restricted. Anyways, collect Leshy's heart, get your reward, and then get on out of there. Now celebrate with all your cult. Well, most of them at least. Screw that guy. Wait a minute, where's June? Using your freshly harvested heart, trade it in, and you'll want to get the hunger trait. When making food, you can eat it to gain an extra shield heart, helping you take attacks from the Golden Fleece's double damage intake. With your newfound hunger, go back into Darkwood. Along the way, follow the path to make sure you have 7 or more followers, since you'll need them for later. Eventually, meeting. They're a pretty annoying boss. They'll constantly charge at you, just make sure not to be in front of them when they're attacking. Smack them up until they run away, which they will then summon enemies. You go through 3 waves of this, starting with the charging enemies and the jumping ones. Shouldn't need to explain how to beat these, it's pretty simple. Next is the bats with the projectile shooters. Dodge away from the bats and focus on killing the cannons. When being hit, cannons won't shoot, so kill them and then focus on the bats after. Then finally, the more challenging one will be 2 charging enemies with 2 different type of burrowing ones. Focus on dodging, attacking after a dodge, or when everything's clear, and then give them the quick 1-2 to defeat Agares, accepting them into your cult after. By now, when you return, you should have met the one who waits. Wait for him to shut up, and gain the Sacrifice of Flesh ritual. Oh, there's June. Not for long though. When followers become old or descend, like June, you should deal with them by offering them as a sacrifice. Now he actually has something to be mad about. The little twat. After sacrificing them, perform the Ritual of Resurrection. You'll be able to keep all the good features, like their level, while making them younger and no longer angry. Hopefully June doesn't hold any grudges. From that, you should have gained follower meat. You want to go to the cooking station and make some delicious minced followers meat. Since you have the cannibals trait, using this gives you the chance to increase your followers' loyalty. With your 7+ followers, go and unlock Anura. There are new enemies here, but they shouldn't be anything to worry about. Just make your way to the boss room so you can meet. They're a pretty easy boss, just attack every time they make sure to keep proper distance after the frog jumps, and when they glow, they'll shoot a projectile cluster. Just dodge away, killing any enemies that come from eggs here and there. This is a pretty easy boss to defeat. I don't get how anyone could die to it. Like usual, accept them into your cult, get your reward, and get out of there. After, you should have a talk with the one who waits about offerings. Gaining a well-needed item, the selling chest. Go over to sell your goods. You should start by selling the fish you got from the Ocean's Bounty, stopping when the price sale gets too low. Also, make sure not to sell too much or you'll crash. With your newfound wealth, distribute it to your followers by upgrading their beds to shelters, and add new things to make the place look spick and span. So overall, you should have all the corners covered. You have high-level followers, a large store of Doctrine Stones, a large sum of food from fishing and sacrifices to last, and enough money to please a gold digger. And now, you have a large amount of early game resources, which should help you with powering through the rest of the game.